As we all know, DPSK is a non-coherent modulation technique. In non-coherent modulation techniques, no synchronization is needed between the transmitter and receiver. That means the carrier generated at the receiver needs not to be in phase synchronization with the carrier used at the transmitter. As we all know, establishing phase synchronization, that means making the phase exactly same at the receiver with respect to that of the transmitter is a quite complex operation which involves a complex hardware. So an effort is always made to avoid this kind of operations. So these non-coherent techniques always help us to avoid this phase synchronization. So DPSK is one of them. To achieve this one, that is phase synchronization, we do some logical operation in the beginning of the DPSK transmission. The logical operation is similar to your XNOR operation or XR operation or modulo 2 operation, whatever you can call. So we do some logical operation at the transmitter on the incoming bit sequence. Due to this logical operation, every bit will be having some relation with its previous bit. So we develop a relation between two successive bits in the sequence. That means instead of keeping the bits as they are, we observe the differentiation between two successive bits, and we encode that differentiation. Hence the name differential encoding. Okay. If the input bit sequence is dk, so after the logical operation it becomes dk. dk is a bit sequence which is the differentiation between the two successive bits in dk. So this dk is finally given to BPSK modulator and BPSK signal is obtained. A BPSK signal with this differential encoding becomes DPSK. Right. And I've given an example also here. So we can easily observe what is happening here. Okay. We observe this very first bit, that is bit 1 in the input sequence. All right. Before that bit 1, we assume one reference bit. In this particular discussion, we have taken reference bit also as 1. So very first, there will be a reference bit, which is 1 in this case. Afterwards, your input sequence will start entering the device. This reference bit 1 is represented as this waveform, sinusoidal waveform, which is positive sine wave. Next, your input bit 1 comes, that also having the same kind of waveform. Next, second bit comes, input is 0. The second bit, not that one, the second bit, that is 0. The moment we get 0, the carrier waveform is inverted. Look at that one. It's an inverted sine wave. Next, but third bit is also 0. Again, waveform is inverted. Observe these two waveforms. Right. First waveform is inverted sine wave. Second waveform is an inversion of the previous, Okay. When the first bit was 1, the waveform here was same as the previous one. When the bit comes 0, suddenly waveform gets inverted. Another comes, again the waveform is inverted compared to previous. You can observe this. Again next bit is 1. That time the waveform continues as it is. You can observe this pattern. Okay. All right. Look at this slide. This is the waveform related to your reference bit. Fine. Reference bit is 1. Next, this waveform is same as this previous waveform. Observe these two bits waveform. Both of them are same. This both of them are same. That means the second waveform is exactly same as the first waveform, indicates that your input bit was 1. Next. The third waveform with respect to second waveform inverted. The third waveform is inverted with respect to second waveform. See this inversion here. 180 phase shift. This inversion says that the bit transmitted was 0. Right. Again, I will go to these two bits of information. Here also phase is inverted here. Don't worry whether it's positive phase or negative phase, whatever it is. The present waveform is inverted with respect to previous waveform. That indicates that the bit transmitted was 0. Next one. This waveform is same as the previous waveform. I'm talking about this much waveform, which is same as this waveform. See, this starts with positive. This also starts with positive. Sine wave, exact sine wave. Both of them are similar. Present waveform is exactly same as the previous waveform. That shows that the input bit was 1. Okay. So likewise, if you observe the DPSK waveform, in which every wavefront is following some method. What is that one? If the present waveform, that means 0 to TB, one duration waveform, is exactly same as the previous waveform when the bit was 1. If they are opposite, bit is 0. This pattern is followed. This is how to understand DPSK waveform. So using this technique, we can easily get the information. Yeah. Now we'll add some more mathematical points here. The DPSK signal at the receiver is given by this waveform. Okay, what is this waveform for? I showed the waveform, the previous slide. It is, observe carefully here what I've written. I show that plus or minus amplitude. Okay, na? Plus or minus root of 2EB by dB is the amplitude of the carrier signal. Cos 2 pi of CT. And what I've extra shown is theta. What is theta? The theta is this phase shift introduced by the channel, because I'm talking about receiver here, guys. Receiver, transmitter is over. Now I have reached the receiver. When a signal moves from transmitter to receiver, it will undergo 3 changes. One is in amplitude, another one is in frequency, another one is in phase. But you have assumed that all communication channels are linear. They don't introduce any frequency change. That's why the 2 pi of CT part will not be changed. That is the assumption. But definitely there will be change in phase and amplitude with respect to transmitter. The change in amplitude, I'm not interested right now. I'm changing phase I'm talking about now. Okay, because it is DPSK, phase shift keying. Because of that, this theta is the phase shift between the received signal and the transmitted signal. Now, if you use coherent technique, coherent, then you have to recreate this carrier signaling exactly. That is cos 2 pi of ct plus theta. You have to do it. How to get that theta? So you have to use, I said already, you have to use some complex circuitry involving PLL, phase locked loop, and you have to get this theta and all. To avoid this complexity of identifying theta and creating theta, we go for DPSK. Okay, we handle the effect of theta easily here. So when the signal comes to the receiver, the carrier signal may be having an additional phase shift of theta. This theta may become danger because the kind of modulation technique is PSK, phase shift keying. That means your information bit 1, bit 0 in the form of phase only. If the channel introduces additional phases, then at the receiver we will be in problem. That's why we have to handle the theta carefully. Fine. Yeah. Now to give the mathematical technique, what I do, this portions. Cos of 2 pi f ct plus theta, I'll expand using the formula cos of a plus b. Cos a, cos b minus sin a, sin b. Just to separate. After expanding, I have this cos 2 pi f ct and sin 2 pi f ct. So cos 2 pi f ct is usually the transmitted carrier signal. Sin 2 pi f ct is the quadrature version of the transmitted carrier signal. So the phase difference between them is 90 degree, fixed one, but the frequency will be same. So we have created in phase component and quadrature component at the receiver, right? So because of the mathematics, my equation has two components. One is quadrature components, that is sin 2 pi f ct component. Another one is cos 2 pi f ct component. So we can think of making a receiver using this in phase component and quadrature component. So we can handle them separately. That's advantage. Okay. Now from this equation, I would like to remove cos 2 pi of ct and sin 2 pi of ct. Right? Why we want to remove cos 2 pi of ct? Because my information that bit 1 and 0, what was transmitted is in this sign plus and minus. As per my previous discussion, we need to observe only the amplitude of the carrier signal, which is plus or minus with respect to previous one. That's why the cos 2 pi of ct and sin 2 pi have no relevance at the receiver. So what I'm thinking now, how to remove cos 2 pi of ct and sin 2 pi of ct terms. Very simple. We know that all carrier signals are orthonormal basis functions. When the signals are orthonormal basis functions, when they are multiplied 2 times, that is phi 1 of t into phi 1 of t, and integrated over a period, they will give you 1. So what is my next operation in the receiver is multiply the first part with cos 2 pi of ct, multiply the second part with sin 2 pi of ct, and integrate them. So after that, cos into cos square after integration becomes 1, sin into sin square after integration becomes 1. So cos term and sin term from the first and the second will be automatically eliminated. Then what we are left with only this cos theta and sin theta. This cos theta and sin theta are the numbers, they are not signals, because theta is going to be a number, something like pi by 4. So cos pi by 4 is 1 by root 2 number, it becomes a number like that. These numbers will be having this amplitude, because I'm interested only in the amplitude, as I said, amplitude. So the plus or minus amplitude will come to cos theta, plus or minus amplitude will come to. So this amplitude, don't worry, root of 2EB by TB will not remain same because of the channel. This will be altered to some other value. That's why a root of 2EB by TB, you can assume time being A, amplitude A. So plus or minus A for cos theta, plus or minus A for sin theta. That can be taken as. Right. Observe carefully, guys. Now this plus or minus into cos theta will be your output afterwards, and observe this minus sign here. When you multiply this one, this becomes minus or plus for the sin theta. Okay. This equation you have to keep it in mind to understand the next block diagram. Come to block diagram, the receiver block diagram. As usual, DPSK receiver, we start with received signal x of t. X of t has two parts, as we know, that is S of t plus W of t. Nice. Time being, for this particular discussion, I leave the noise. W of t, na, we forget about noise for some time. Okay, na? So only take up the transmitted signal in this X of t. As I said, what is my first operation? Multiply with cos 2 pi of ct and sin 2 pi of ct. How to generate cos 2 pi of ct? Use an oscillator. How to generate sin 2 pi of ct? For this oscillator output cos, introduce minus 90 degree phase shift, it becomes sin. So we have cos here, we have sin here. But remember guys, the received signal was having a phase shift of theta, cos 2 pi of ct plus theta, sin 2 pi of ct plus theta. In coherent detection, the theta has to be created here, but in non-coherent, the theta need not to bother about it. So forget about the theta. Just create cos 2 pi of ct and sin 2 pi of ct. Whatever the value of the phase, irrespective of that, when you can do the job. So I am multiplying with cos here, I am multiplying with sin here. That means x of t is multiplied with cos once and sin once and integrated. Correct? Yes. Here what happens? Next, go back to the previous slide. What is your incoming signal now? The received signal is this part. This part. The incoming signal x of t contains cos 2 pi of ct into cos theta minus sin 2 pi of sin theta. It contains both the terms. That is this one. It contains both the terms. How to handle? So the signal coming here is containing cos 2 pi of ct into cos theta minus sin 2 pi of ct into sin theta. But you are multiplying only here cos 2 pi of ct. What happens? First term cos into cos, cos square, integration. So cos square integration is 1. Second term sin 2 pi of ct into cos 2 pi of integration is 0. I told in many classes that when in phase components are multiplied and integrated, you will get 1 quadrature component. Here what is coming? Cos into sin goes to 0, sin into sin is 1. So when you multiply cos and sin together and integrate, you will get 0 because they are orthogonal. Two different signals multiplied, you will produce always 0. Right. So because of that one, what is the output here? What is the output here? Their output is simply cos theta. Here output is simply sin theta. This is coming. So after integration, in the first channel, that the top channel, that is called in phase channel, you will get positive cos theta. In the lower channel, that is called quadrature channel, you will get negative sin theta. So keep this in mind. In the next operation, this cos theta and sin theta are stored in this delay. That means delay elements are having memory where the input is stored for a duration of TB, that is 1 bit duration. Afterward, it is produced back to multiplier. Okay, right. Now think that inside the delay, cos theta is there. Inside this delay, minus sin theta is there. Right. Next symbol comes from x of t. That is the second waveform. That waveform undergoes the same format here. It will come to this multiplier. It will come to this multiplier. So at the multiplier, two inputs are there. One is the second waveform coming from here. Second waveform coming from here. Next, first waveform stored here. First waveform stored here. We know what is stored here. Cos theta. We know what is stored here. Minus sin theta. Next, what is coming here? We don't know. Second one. Right. If it is bit 1, right, it's having the positive waveform. That means same waveform of the previous. If it is bit 0, it's opposite waveform of the previous. Now think that here is cos theta. Incoming is also cos theta. Here also cos theta. Both are multiplied. Cos into cos, cos square theta. That's a positive number. Next, what is coming here? Minus sin theta. Incoming signal is also minus sin theta. Minus into minus, plus sin square theta. Here is sin square theta. So sin square theta positive. Here sin square theta, cos square theta positive. So at this point they are added up. cos square theta plus sin square theta is going to be 1. Number 1 is going to be a positive number. Okay. Now understand my discussion. Whatever is stored is cos theta and minus sin theta. Incoming is also cos theta and minus sin theta. That means when both of them are same, that means previous values and present values are same, is obviously it is bit 1. When there is bit 1, the two wavefronts of consecutive periods will be same. So we'll get a positive value. Suppose bit 0 is coming. Bit 0 is the bit incoming. Then if it is cos theta here, sorry, if it is cos theta here, then incoming will be minus cos theta. If it is minus sin theta here, incoming will be plus sin theta. Multiply these two. Plus cos theta minus cos theta is minus cos square theta. Multiply this one, plus into minus, minus sin square theta. Correct? So when you add it here, minus cos square theta minus sin square theta, minus common factor, cos square plus 1. So we're going to get minus 1. That means this y will be positive for the bit 1, will be negative for the bit 0. So my conclusion, decision making will always be with respect to 0. Reason, the y value is either positive or negative. If y value positive, that is more than 0, it is bit 1, less than 0, it is bit 0. This is how the DPSK receiver works. Basically, DPSK is a very simple operation, but you have to understand in detail in your own way. Okay, just looking at the waveforms, sometimes you won't understand the operation. If you understand the DPSK operation, this is the easiest one to write and understand in exam, right? Look at this waveform equation here. This is the probability of error of DPSK technique. The probability of error P is equal to 1 by 2 exponential of minus EB by N naught. Guys, observe this equation. This is an exponential term. In my earlier techniques, that is ASK, PSK and FSK, the probability of error was containing something like ERFC function, complementary error function, or Q function, right? But in this technique of non-coherent technique, there are no such functions. Q functions and error functions are not there. It is direct exponential, e power. So that means, what is this equation? E power minus EV by E naught. When you can do this, you can do the calculation using calculator directly. No table required for this particular thing. So all of you remember, first